today, Mom.
Yes, Tana.
So I had a few questions that I just wanted to know from your perspective. So I wanted to know from you who you think the most influential youth leader is or was. Yeah.
That's a very layered question. So my initial response to you would be to say, I think the most influential would be the leadership who started and created the march, or a peaceful march that was planned on June 16, which obviously turned into a massacre of children and the events just, the events that just took place. So my initial response would be to say that purely because it's a known fact that picture catalyzed or created that extra pressure in terms of apartheid. Yeah. So we know that the power of that picture and the power of what happened after that, that would be the most influential. But I would also say that in current times, because we are dealing with so much in the world, that there's youth that have stepped up. So there's the Gretas and the Malalas of the world, which we all know. But then there's also the youth that we don't really think about in terms of the change makers. We don't think about them in terms of change makers. So there's the Lewis Hamiltons and there's the Yara Shahidis, who will one day, highly likely, probably be president of the US. So there's all of these young people that are stepping up. One day that, I may even count you in that list, right? I may. But it's a good problem to have. I think it's a good problem that we can't. When you asked me the question, I couldn't tell you, like, okay,
it was almost too
one
broad
person.
to answer.
Yeah, so I think that's a good problem to have, that the world has, that we've got all these
too many
young leaders. And I mean, if you look closer, you've got Aya Chebi from the African Union Youth Envoy. You've got Leah, and I can never get her surname, so I'm not even going to try, in terms of the young climate change activists in Uganda. So there's all these different young people that are stepping up and just making their voices heard. What an amazing problem for us to have. So, in that spirit of leadership and young people and women specifically, Joe Biden announced that his running mate is Senator Kamala Harris, who is a multiracial woman. So, multiracial woman has been named as a running mate in terms of for vice president. So I know that you have many opinions about this constantly. So what does that mean to you now that he has named his running mate and it is a multiracial woman that is highly articulate, extremely smart? She's a proper leader, so there's no one's going to be able to find that fault with her. It wasn't just because she was a woman, it wasn't just because she's multiracial. She didn't get a ticket just, as a window dresser. She got the ticket, she earned it. So how does that make you feel?
I mean, obviously it's very nice to hear, which means that, ultimately it means that we're overruling the patriarchy, which is definitely
Janet's favorite word. Well, her least favorite thing
that I use,
but her favorite word that is, I think it's used the most.
Misogyny.
And misogyny and minority. Yes. So we're overruling the patriarchy. Okay, what else?
Which I mean, to think about where we were last year, to think of having a female president, a multiracial female in such a high place, people would have laughed at that.
Yeah. How does that make you feel? What does that mean? So we may understand it based on all of our conversations, but what does that mean when we say overruling the patriarchy because it's a multiracial woman? Unpack that. Unpack it for me. What does that mean to you? I need to know that means something to you in terms of you. What does that mean to you?
Okay, so for me, being an Indian girl growing up in South Africa, I don't ever really feel like I belong. Forget that I'm just let's say different. I don't really get along.
You're a minority.
So, like, I don't know, I wake up every day feeling like I don't belong here, but this is my home. I don't belong here.
But your roots are here.
My roots.
You feel like your roots are here.
This is my home, but people make me feel like I don't belong here based on my race.
Sure.
So, and like I know for you how hard you had to work to get where you are, especially in South Africa during apartheid, because of your race and your gender. And I can't even imagine how hard she had to work to get to the position that she's in right now. She must have been just to get there as a white male must have been quite hard. Even with Donald Trump and all of his issues, I mean, it must have still been. He must have still had to work for it.
Yeah, he still had to work for it. Yeah.
But to get to where she is as
a minority,
a woman part of a minority, that makes me feel like I can do anything. Because I had this mentality for months, years, however long I've found out that the world isn't perfect.
Since you found out.
Since I found out the world isn't perfect. I've had the mindset that because of my race and my gender, I can't accomplish certain things because society has certain rules that I just won't ever be able to do something in my lifetime because that's just not how the world operates. But now to think that I can be that one day, it gives me someone to look up to. Obviously,